Every night before bed, the woman would drink a glass of milk, but today's taste was noticeably different. At first, she didn't pay much attention to it. However, when she woke up the next day, the woman felt dizzy and disoriented. Her body also had some strange swelling and pain. Even more bizarre, the buttons on her nightgown that she hadn't fastened were now buttoned up. The woman instantly realized she had been assaulted last night, so she rushed to the hospital for an examination. The results showed she had indeed been assaulted, and it wasn't just once. At first, the woman wanted to call the police, but when she thought about the judgmental looks she would receive from others, she gave up. Even so, she had no intention of letting the attacker get away, so she and her brother searched the room together. Aside from a handkerchief on the windowsill and an open window, they found nothing else. In the end, the woman could only give up for now, to help his sister move past the nightmare as quickly as possible. Her brother arranged a blind date for her. It was at this blind date that her brother discovered a suspect. This person was clearly following the woman, but when the woman came out, he pretended to be passing by coincidentally, and this person was Annie's co-worker, John. Through various inquiries they learned, John had always liked Annie, but didn't dare to confess his feelings, and he had followed her more than once. To verify his suspicion, Mike had Annie try to get a cigarette butt John had used, then run a DNA comparison. However, every time Annie tried to pick up the cigarette butt, she was a step too late. With no other option, Annie could only invite John to dinner. Sure enough, Annie successfully obtained the cigarette butt. However, the test results showed that John was not the attacker. After clearing him of suspicion, Annie asked him out again. She wanted to apologize to him in person, but one sentence from John completely shocked her. John asked her if she had been harmed in some way. This made Annie instantly suspicious. How would he know she had been harmed? Because she had never told anyone, so only the attacker would know. To figure out John's source of information, Annie went to find John again, but she discovered she had misunderstood him again. After Annie was assaulted, she took 2 weeks of sick leave. John, who had always liked her, wanted to visit her at home, but just as he arrived downstairs, he saw Mike coming home from grocery shopping. Usually when a girl is sick, she would have her mother come take care of her, but having her brother take care of her meant she definitely didn't want her parents to know. Also, after Annie returned to work at the company, the first thing she did was ask to share an apartment with a co-worker, and that cigarette butt was also deliberately left by John. When he saw Annie picking up the cigarette butt, he figured out the general situation, combining all these circumstances. John speculated that Annie must have encountered something difficult to talk about, but he didn't know the specifics. After hearing this, Annie could no longer hold back her grief and told him about her ordeal. After John learned what happened, he immediately offered to help find the attacker. The next day, the two went to check out the apartment complex together. Based on the handkerchief left on the windowsill, Annie speculated that the attacker must have entered the room through the window, but John didn't think so. The water pipes in the complex were worn and broken. They couldn't possibly support the attacker's climbing. If the attacker had really left through the window, then the handkerchief he left behind couldn't have gone unnoticed. All signs indicated the attacker had hidden in the home beforehand, taking advantage of her habit of drinking milk every night. He added a sedative to it in advance, then assaulted her after Annie fell asleep, and the handkerchief left behind was just a form of misdirection. The only purpose of doing this was to cover up the truth that it was someone she knew. So they went to check the security footage of the complex, and unexpectedly discovered